Then, after receiving provisions for their journey, they traveled on. They entered into another town, where they truly wished to lodge, for it was a popular place. There was a woman in this town who had gone to the river to bathe one day, and behold, Satan, the accursed one, sprang on her in the form of a snake, and wrapped himself around her body, and he wrenched her every night thereafter. When this woman saw Our Lady, Saint Mary, with the child, the Lord Jesus Christ, in her arms, she asked the Lady Saint Mary to hand the little one over to her, so that she might kiss and hold him in her arms. Now when Mary handed him over, even as she was taking hold of the child, Satan suddenly took off and abandoned her, and that woman never saw him again. Everyone in that place immediately broke into praises to the Most High God, and the woman gave them generous gifts. The next day, that same woman bought perfumed water with which to bathe the anointed Lord, and set it aside. Another girl was there whose skin was white with leprosy, and as soon as she was sprinkled with it and had scrubbed herself off, her skin disease was washed away. So all the people proclaimed, "There can be no doubt that Joseph, Mary, and this boy are gods, seeing they do not seem like mortal men." And as they were getting set to travel on, the girl who had been afflicted by her skin disease approached them and asked if she could come along, and they answered that she could. So the girl traveled on with them until they came to a town in which stood the palace of a great king. And that place was near to the inn where they were staying. One day, when the girl went to visit the prince's wife, she found her grieving and suffering terribly. So she asked her, "Why are you weeping?" "Please don't ask me why I weep," she pleaded, "for I am under such a trial that I dare not tell a soul about it." "But if you'll confide in me," the girl replied, "and disclose to me the nature of your personal suffering, then I might just be able to find you a remedy." "Then you must keep it to yourself," the princess insisted, "and not tell anyone about it. I have been married to this prince who reigns over many regions as a king, and had lived with him for quite a while before I bore him any children. At long last he managed to get me pregnant, but wouldn't you know, I gave birth to a leprous son. Now as soon as my husband saw him, he immediately denied his paternity and said, 'You either take and destroy him, or else send him off to a nurse in a place so far away that he will never be heard from. As for you, look to yourself, because I never want to see you again.' So here I am, languishing and grieving over my horrible situation. Oh, for my son! Oh, for my husband! Do you get the idea?" "I have found a remedy for your plight that I know you can trust," the girl replied, "even the one who is called Jesus, the son of the Lady Saint Mary. You see, I also had a skin disease, but then God washed me clean of it." "Where," asked the woman, "is this God of whom you speak?" The girl answered, "He is staying right here in your very own home." "But how is this possible?" the princess said. "Tell me where this child could be." "Behold," the girl replied, "you know Joseph and Mary? The child who is with them is called Jesus, and he was the one who freed me from my own illness and suffering." "Well then," the princess asked, "just how were you cleansed of it? Will you at least explain that much to me?" "Why, of course I will," the girl answered. "After I had bathed the boy, I took the water used to wash his body and poured it over myself, and my skin disease disappeared." The princess then got up and showed herself hospitable to them, throwing a banquet in Joseph's honor before a great many men. The following day she took perfumed water in which to bathe the Lord Jesus, and later poured some over her own son, whom she had brought along, and immediately he was freed of his leprosy. She then sang praises of thanks to God, saying, "O Jesus, how blessed is the mother who bore you! Is this how you restore mankind, making them even as you are yourself with the very water that was used to clean you off?" Then she offered lavish gifts to Our Lady, Saint Mary, and bid her farewell with every conceivable honor.